Hey guys, welcome back to another Pocket Page Process video. Try saying that 10 times fast. I am still working on day 3 of our Grand Teton Yellowstone National Park vacation. This is the layout that I just uploaded. It'll be the last process video that I have. And what I am working on right now is the page that goes on the right of this. It will be another pocket page. I do like to use those because I can use a lot of photos in a pocket page layout. So I'm going to do a couple pocket page layout, like a front and a back, and then I'm going to do a couple 12 by 12 layouts. So the photos that I am working on right now are from an area in the Teton National Park called Oxbow Bend, and it is one of my favorite areas of the entire park. Like, look at that. The colors were gorgeous. Again, we were there the last week in September, and it was just the quintessential fall trip. It was so amazing, just so amazing. So these are the photos that I'm working on right now. I think what I'm going to do, let me put this aside. I think what I'm going to do is use this protector, and I know it's very, very hard to see, but there's a 2 by 12 strip here. There is 2 4 by 6s horizontal, 2 4 by 6s vertical, and then there's 2 3 by 4s. And I think that's what I'm going to use up some of these photos, the front and the back. I'll use just a pattern paper strip right there, and we'll see what we can come up with. So stay tuned. All right, so jumping right in. This 12 by 12 paper that I pulled is from Authentique. This is their Splendor line. I have used it quite a bit throughout this album because the papers are, first of all, they're gorgeous and they're very, very fall themed, so they tend to complement my photos very well. So I chose that piece of paper for that 2 by 12 strip because a majority of the artwork on that paper was on the left-hand side. And I felt like I could cut that 2 by 12 strip and not compromise a lot of the artwork. So that's what I did, and I think it turned out really well. I really like the way that works with my photos. So right now I'm just taking these pictures and trying to figure out how I want them to end up in the layout. And as you can see, I took a lot of photos of the same area, which is something I tend to do. I take a lot of photos, and I have a very hard time trying to narrow it down. You know, I don't know if you guys have this. Let me know in the comments if you do. I just feel like I have to scrapbook. Like, they're my children. Like, I can't pick favorites. Like, I just end up using all of them, and it's the reason that my albums are as full as they are. And it's also the reason that I tend to have a lot of photos that look the same, because I will take a horizontal photo, I will take a vertical photo of the exact same thing. I will take a picture and then I will turn to the right and take another picture, you know, just a little bit different from the one I just took. And when you look at them, you think, oh, those are just all kind of the same photos. But I know that they're all different. But I have a hard time narrowing it down. That's one thing I need to work on this year, is just not using them all. Like, I don't have to use them all, and that's where I struggle. So let me know below if you guys have that issue too, or how you narrow down which photos you use when you have a lot of them to choose from. But yeah, that's where I have a hard time. So the bottom of that pocket, or that page protector, has 2 3 by 4 pockets, and I only had 1 3 by 4 photo, and so I had to come up with a filler card for that other 3 by 4 pocket, and that's what I'm working on right now. So I went to my little box of scraps that I've accumulated working on this album, and I pulled out that leaf paper that is from Simple Stories, and then I just pulled a couple other scraps, and I believe those come from the Authentique line as well. Then I went to my little embellishment bowl and I found that embellishment from Simple Stories that says "The Best Day Ever." So that was a quick and really simple filler card. So now I am looking at my photos and trying to figure out where I can add some embellishment. So if you notice, a lot of these photos have, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say blank space, because there's a lot of really pretty sagebrush and stuff, but the focus of these photos is the mountain and the orange trees in front of them. So I have a lot of area in the foreground of those photos where I can add some embellishments and not lose the integrity of the photo. So that's what I'm working on right now. So that 3x4 photo, I've gone ahead and just used a strip of scrap paper to kind of anchor a little tiny embellishment cluster. I don't get crazy on these because, again, I don't want to take away from the integrity of the photo. So just a little something to break up the photos and give your eye a place to rest. And again, to me that's the scrapbooking part of these layouts. So that's what I enjoy doing, is the embellishing. So I took that 4x6 photo and I'm just going to turn this into a little 4x6 layout. That one had a lot of sagebrush in the front where I could trim that down, get rid of some of that sagebrush and still not compromise the photo. So that is what I did, and I'm just inking up the edges of this. Again, that's an authentic paper from that same Splendor line. And I'm just going to go ahead and create a little layout on that 4x6 pocket page. Pocket. So that's what I'm working on right now. You'll notice on the back of those photos, and it's even more evident when I turn this page protector over, that all of my photos have numbers on the back. And for me, this was the easiest way to organize all of these photos. So as I just mentioned, I have a ton of photos from this trip. And normally what I do when I go on vacation is I take a lot of photos on my phone. Most of them are on my phone. But this time, because I knew I was going to want to want to be photographer on this trip, I took my big DSLR camera. So probably 99% of the photos I took were on my DSLR. So normally what I do when I come back from a trip, again, I mentioned almost all of my photos are on my phone. So I will put them all into the Project Life app, and I will print some 3x4, I will print some 4x6, I will print vertical, horizontal, and whatever I end up with, and I have to make it work. But on this one, because I had all of these DSLR photos, I had to download them on my computer and I couldn't put them into the Project Life app. I could have, but it would have been an awful lot of work. And this was just easier to print all of my photos as 4x6, which is what I did. So I just took all of the photos that I had on this vacation, dumped them onto my computer, printed them all at a 4x6 size. So what I did when I got home, I opened up I went to Walgreens to develop my photos. I came back home and I opened them up and I had no idea what went with what. They weren't in any order. So I had to go through the files on my computer and figure out which photos were which. And so I went ahead and I numbered them so that I would know. And then I wrote down on a piece of paper, obviously, what numbers went with what part of our trip. So like you can see right there, there's a lot of numbers on the back. And so I know that all of those 33, 80 something photos and 70 something photos were all from this same area. So it just helped me organize them all so that I could, because as I mentioned before in one of my videos, I don't even remember which one, I'm doing this album chronologically. So it was very important for me to make sure that all of the photos from my days were in order so that it would just make it easier to scrapbook. So that is why there are numbers on all the back of my photos. So I finished up the embellishing on the front side, and I've turned this over and I'm working on the back side. And that strip of paper has that kind of diamond pattern on the back of it, and I decided to go ahead and just leave that there. And I pulled out this, I believe that is Echo Park, Hello Fall maybe, strip of paper, and just layered it on that diamond pattern. So again, I didn't have to, use any more paper. I just used what I already had there. So that worked out really well. So again, I'm trying to figure out where to lay my photos, and I'm going to go through the same process. So I put my photos down and I try and figure out what I can trim down, where I can add an embellishment cluster, all that kind of stuff. And when I had taken that picture of that Oxbow Bend turnout sign, I never intended to actually scrapbook it. It was just getting out of the car, snapping a photo so that I would know when I looked through my photos where we were at. But again, I'm not one to leave a photo on the table, so I'm going to end up using it in this layout. So because it had a lot of space around it, because again, I never intended it to be scrapbooked, it was the perfect photo to trim down and make another little layout on. So that's what I've done here. I've used the back side of the little layout card, filler card thing that I did on the previous side, because again, it's there and I might as well just use it and it goes well with my photos. So that is what I am doing, and I'm just inking at my edges, and I'm going to put that photo down and then figure out how to embellish it, and how to embellish it. And actually it comes together pretty quick and easy. I have go-tos, as you guys may have noticed, as far as my embellishments go. I tend to anchor my embellishments with a strip of paper or washi tape, and then I just add a little embellishment. So that's exactly what I'm going to do on this one. So I'm going to take that that brown polka dot paper and then use that embellishment, and that card will be done. So this area was just so stunning. So as we pulled into the parking lot over here at this Oxbow Bend area, there was a lot of people there. And when we got out, we walked down to the river, and we were fortunate enough to see a family of river otters in the Snake River right down below. And there was a lot of people on the banks of the river just watching this little family. They would swim through the river, and then you could see them catch their fish, and they would pull the fish up on the shore, and the whole little family would run up and they would all start eating the fish. So it was the coolest thing to watch. And I've got a couple photos of that you'll see in just a minute, but it was so fun to watch. And I heard a lot of people, so obviously there's a lot of wildlife photographers who spend a lot of time in the Teton and Yellowstone National Parks just taking photos of the wildlife. And from what they said, this was very, very rare. Like you don't see river otters very often. And again, they were pretty far away. Even with my zoom lens on my camera, I didn't get a great shot, but that's the little family in the Snake River, and then little photos of them up on the shore. So it was so great to get to see that, and it was just fun to just sit and watch them. It was a really great experience, and I'm so glad we got to see it. So that's what I'm working on right now. What I've done is just taken a couple of the photos and trimmed them down to a 3x4, and then I decide to pull out some of my what are they? Oh, Simple Stories photo flips, because I want to use those two 4x6s. And I need to use them on this layout because they're not going to go on the next one. So what I decide to do is I'm going to label this, and it's going to say River Otters. You'll see in just a second that says River Otters. And then I've got that photo flip that I'm just going to pop those into and stick that onto my layout, and that will call this side of the layout done. So pretty quick and easy, and I really like the way that turned out. So I just want to thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. I've got a couple 12x12 layouts coming up, and I will see you soon. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.